Okay, getting adjusted. Wine in hand. Feeling good. Got that going.
What up, buttercups?
All right, I think we are live. Oh, I forgot to share it to Facebook.
You have failed. Can I do that from, can you do it from your phone?
Oh.
Can we do it from the computer?
Where is my phone?
Hold up, buttercups.
Hold up, wait a minute. Sorry, guys. We are...
Oh, boy. Hey, Jasmine.
Channel share. Yes, I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Wow, you are good.
You know it, girl.
You are real good. Hey,
You
Sarah.
know it.
Hey, Kelly.
Hey, guys.
Dana.
Oh, we
you.
missed you on the
A big hug. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Cassandra. Cassandra or Cassandra? I always say it wrong. Cassandra?
I think we already asked Cassandra.
Damn it!
I don't know. I can be wrong too. I'm always
Is it
wrong.
sand or S-A-N or sond? Like S-O-N. Help us. Hey, Robin. Jana. Oh, our sister wife is here. Hey, Heather.
Hey, Heather.
Oh, love you. We got a Friday girl with us today, don't we, baby lady?
Okay.
Hey,
sorry,
Ellie.
guys. We were not
we were not completely prepared. Come here,
we
my scruffle
we didn't have all of our stuffs together.
My sweet.
I feel like it's so dark on YouTube, but maybe it's not. Goodness.
She cannot be having none of it.
All right. So we are about to join a podcast. We got 18 of you guys here on YouTube.
Hey
guys. Welcome. If you guys are joining us for the first time and you don't know who the hell we are, my name is Jae.
And my name is Adrienne.
And together we are the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. And we have a very difficult podcast to record today, but I think we're gonna
Jay thinks we're gonna talk about this. I'm not sure.
I think we're gonna make it through.
She says so. She's the boss.
Yeah, we shall see. But we
Kelly, I love you. Our VIPs light up our life. A cheers to you. To our VIPs.
And Jasmine.
I know. Yay. Girl, what was you, gardening or something?
You were so
You were
cute.
working there, girl.
Working in a garden. Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and start the podcast. And then we're going to try to get through this. I don't know how. Actually, I do have a couple surprises.
Well, so how about it?
Let's do it. You ready? Welcome to episode number 0024 of Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. Guys, it is going to be a difficult one. Shit.
Ooh, wow. You didn't even get started. Hold on. Let me take over here for a minute. So today we are going to briefly discuss the fact that we suddenly lost our Mister Piddles this week.
Yeah, so we very suddenly and unexpectedly lost a cat this week, and we thought we would take this opportunity to talk to you guys about the different processes that that one goes through when, or that we're going through still currently, right? When you're grieving the loss, and this is a situation we've never been through. No. We've been through many losses. We've lost cats. And dogs and I lost a turtle and I lost a gecko once. Like, so we've lost animals in the past.
I don't think you shared with me about your gecko.
I threw a funeral, remember?
I remember the funeral, but I don't remember how he died.
Oh, I don't know. He just died.
Oh.
It was probably.
You didn't kill him.
Not on purpose. I probably did. I was like 7. So I probably didn't do something right. Anyway, we thought we'd talk about just, the grieving process and maybe coach each other through. Maybe, I don't know. This is going to be a really hard one because we haven't actually talked to anybody yet about the whole process. So I'm going to apologize in advance for all you listeners. Because there may be some tears, but I did prepare us with a box of Kleenex.
You know, when I actually found that in here, I asked you about it because I didn't want you thinking that that would be something that I would do, is put Kleenex with the shoes.
Yeah, no.
And so I didn't want to get in trouble. So I was like, what is this doing in here? Like,
she was like, it
seems a little bulky for one of the cats to take.
So,
real quick before we get started, though, I want to give a huge shout out to this beautiful community that we're in.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever been in an experience where there's so much empathy and compassion. And I think it's something that a lot of people outside of this community, I know even in our own little daily pockets of things outside of this, where people don't really understand or aren't able to empathize with the loss of a cat.
Yeah.
It's like people are very compassionate about someone losing a dog, and they'll be like, oh my God, it's like losing a family member. And then if you...
Or a human.
Right. But when it comes to our cats, oftentimes it's like, sorry about your cat. Or I heard about your cat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a...
But I mean, like every bit of reaching out is super nice. But when it came to when this happened this week, and we had to post about it because it happened on Wednesday, and Wednesday was our Q&A Wednesday. And we had already gone live and talked about how excited we were for it. And you know, most of our followers expect that because we do it both on Facebook and Instagram on Wednesday nights. So we had to.
We weren't just going to go AWOL.
Yeah,
because
we can't just like not. So we had to explain that, you know, we had a sudden loss and that we couldn't do our Q&A, but the overwhelming amount of love and support that came from our community of just cat people, right, was amazing. I mean, outstanding. I don't even have the right words of gratitude to express how that it made us feel like we weren't alone. And that
very comforting. I think you mentioned that we've been through situations before where they're like, it's like there's something very wrong with one of our cats, and it's kind of like that Mack truck scenario that Dr. Becker talks about, where it's like, oh, something's wrong. You go to the vet and then you find out that this is happening and you've got to make some tough choices, or there's a long illness, or that time is coming and you have time to prepare.
And we've been through all of those.
We've been through a lot of those situations,
and some of them several times.
This was
not that situation. So we're going to try to get through telling you guys, hopefully in sequential order, what happened. But it's going to be hard to talk about because it's hard for us to talk about even to each other. So I did bring a couple pick-me-ups.
Really?
Yep.
What you got?
First, I brought
Flat Liz.
Flat Liz, for all of you listeners. My sister is one of our biggest supporters, and she is very well known on our page as being Flat Liz because I actually have a cardboard cutout of her head that was for a completely different reason, but I kept it. And from years ago, but I kept it and I have it in my office, and she ever so often shows up in our live shows. So
I do want to say,
I thought we'd bring her.
Shout out to Flat Liz and your other older sister,
yes,
Sissy. That night we received so many outpourings. Like we had people deliver wine and flowers show up. I almost felt guilty for all the love.
And bouquets of flowers.
And Liz and Sissy sent us dinner that night. Just
Thai food.
Up here.
Thai food.
Some of the best comfort food in all the land.
Seriously, the best comfort food.
Right. So thank you, Liz.
And then I brought something else too.
Where should I put Flat Liz?
Right there. I think she's perfect right there. Yeah. Because center show. Right
there.
So we got this awesome Cat Mom hat. Shout out. We got the hat file this week. And this morning I
what you got in there?
Well, I put some little notes in here.
When did you do this?
This morning.
I woke up when you did.
Yeah, but you were doing other things. I don't know. But I put some little notes in here, just random things that I thought about.
Yeah.
That, you know, if we're talking and we don't think we can finish talking without crying, we just draw one and read it.
Okay.
We'll read it out loud, and it'll hopefully switch our.
Was it like butt hairs or something?
I think that is one.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's very cathartic. Okay.
Yeah. So something that can just kind of like put us in a different
switch. You know what?
Switch gears, right? So, and then we've got the tissues. So I think we're set. I think we can do this. We're prepared. We're prepared this time.
And maybe this is, and we wanted to, we talked about this very briefly. We haven't talked about it a lot, but I think that there's probably a lot of us that have gone through this, and it feels important, not just to Mister Piddles, but to a lot of us that have gone through this. Ooh.
Yeah. That you're already drawing. I don't have a lot.
A baby's butt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
She just drew for listeners. If you hear a random something out there, it's.
But it feels important to talk about this, and just.
Well, I think for listeners that have gone through or might go through this in the future, or have gone through this in the past. And then also for us, I think it's probably going to be important to get it out. Now we do have a live. The reason that we have all these things we do have a live on Facebook after this. So we're gonna try to keep it without too many bawling tears. We have to keep our faces in at least somewhat check.
My face takes a long time to recover.
Mine does too. Does too. Okay.
Dana has the heal all word. We've been through a lot with our Cox cable. Whatever, and it's kind of an inside joke with our VIPs that we just yell Cox.
Cox. I should have put that in there.
Whenever we're
so
thank you, Dana.
Cox is our cable provider for those of you guys listening that don't know. It's like Comcast or all the other. They have the monopoly here in Vegas,
and they provide a number of technical difficulties for us.
So we talk about Cox a lot because we sometimes get really pissed with Cox. But it's funny when you say it.
Okay, so Wednesday, I think a lot of you guys joined us on our afternoon live, our regular afternoon live, and we were actually just kind of talking about wonder what time Mister Piddles will be ready to pick up tonight. We brought him in
on Wednesday. So Tuesday night, Mister Piddles is 16 years old. Was 16 years old. He's had a numerous amount of health issues over the years, but we have been able to really keep all of it in check. For instance, he had kidney disease. He was in stage 2 kidney disease.
He was diagnosed
4 years ago. And his last blood panel, which was 5 months ago, came back, or 3 months ago. I can't remember, but they came back as his as actually showing improvement. So over the years, we always do his 6-month senior blood panel, and as you should do if you have a cat over 10 years old, and especially a cat that's been diagnosed with a disease like this, because things can change really fast, as you will see. And we were able to keep it to where it never elevated. So basically, he wasn't going into stage 3 kidney disease, if you will. So it wasn't progressing. And kidney disease is not a curable thing. It is something that over time, chronic kidney disease, over time, it slowly takes your cat down and down. But there are ways holistically and through diet that we can help to stop the progression of that. And his last blood panel actually showed that his kidneys were better, which was and not completely better, like cured or anything, but they showed improvement, which is something that we had not seen in the past. It was just always staying the same. So we were celebrating that. Go ahead.
A little background though is that since his senior blood panel, they noticed that his iron was down a little bit. So we had been taking him in for monthly iron shots. They gave us B12 shots as well, and a monthly iron shots. We did the B12 shots ourselves, or I did. Jay would distract him. But the iron shots, they go in like right by the muscle of the spine. And we were like, no. So every month we were bringing him in, and our last appointment was February 20th. We ended up canceling our subsequent iron shots because of the quarantine and it not being an emergency situation. And we had talked with them. So we had his last vet appointment, which he did so good. We were celebrating and putting on weight.
He had put on weight.
He was doing so good.
So good. So that was February 20th. And today is May, and he passed on May 13th. So less than 2 months since he had been to the vet for a checkup. So Tuesday night he got, Adrienne said, I noticed he's one of those cats that has one of those thick coats, and he's the only cat that, regardless of diet and supplementation and all that, still struggles with hairballs every once in a while, or still coughs up hairballs every once in a while, and still struggles with constipation. And so she noticed, Adrienne said, his belly is a bit distended. It feels distended.
It felt a little bit tight.
A little bit tight, a little big. And I was like, well, let's make an appointment. Literally, we were sitting outside. She said that. I picked up the phone. I called them. I said, we'd like to bring him in. His stomach's a little. We think that he's constipated. And she also said that you hadn't seen him poop.
Well, it had been about 6 days. I had only seen 3 or 4 poops from him. One, I wasn't sure if it was one of the babies because I hadn't seen him do it.
Yeah.
But
2 of them, you had seen him.
Well, I'd seen the others. And so I was feeling like, okay, well, because his appetite was awesome. He was just a little Hoover. And I thought, well, maybe I'm not catching all of them. But constipation's been an issue, and so I was really trying to keep an eagle eye on him.
And he had been, over the past, ever since we got the kittens, really. So over the past 2 years, pretty much. He's kind of been a little more hiding and to himself.
He does not like playing with the babies.
He doesn't really like playing.
We'll catch him occasionally.
Too much. He'll play with us. Or he'll play with them sometimes too.
Right, we'll catch him occasionally, and then he's like, "No, I'm grumpy. I'm going to go back over here."
Yeah.
If you catch him,
So this past month, we really started taking him out every day outside and letting him walk around. And sometimes he'd chase bugs, and sometimes he'd, jump up on the benches and do a photo shoot.
Or he'd find like just a good sunspot and just melt into it.
Yeah, so it was really, we could tell that it was really bringing up his energy. But we wanted to get him in because if the stomach is...
Incidentally, I will say Tuesday night before that, I was like, I feel like he might be getting constipated. I think it had been Sunday that I saw his last poop, and I was like, I think he might be constipated. Maybe we should take him in, get another iron shot, just be like, let's just go in and do this. And 20 minutes after Jay called, he goes in and poops.
Right after I made the vet appointment, he poops. So we were like, okay, so that's
but
a
I have
good
to
thing.
say,
but
I said to you that night, it made me a little concerned that his stomach still felt a little tight.
Even afterwards.
Even after he pooped.
I mean, honestly, in my mind, I was thinking, so he got some poop backed up. He gets a little bit out every once in a while because as of your story, and Adrienne is the poop patrol. So as of your story, he's not pooping as often and his stomach is tight. So let's take him in. Okay. Let's not make this a forever story, but we take him in. Now our vet has basically, especially during quarantine, you're not able to make appointments. And even before that, if you made appointments to take the cat in where you wait and you see the vet and you discuss everything with her, you can wait a month to get in. So,
but they do take drop-offs. In other words, you drop off between X time in the morning. The veterinarian will see your kitty with whatever issue that you're concerned about during the course of the day, and then you can go ideally pick up your kitty at the end of the day.
Right. So we dropped him off in the morning, and they said, not to call until 3:30. That's basically the time that she's seen enough cats or whatever that we could call and see, baby, in the afternoon, to see if, check on him and see how he's doing and if we could come pick him up. And it was about 2:00. I get a call. I get a call from them, and they from the veterinarian herself, Dr. Steelman, and she now, mind you, actually, let me go back. So right before this happened, one of our Instagram followers, beautiful Instagram follower, Kat, she was a volunteer. She is a volunteer at the vet's office because they are also part of a cat rescue called the Poppy Foundation. So beautiful. Yeah. So she volunteers and goes in and loves on the cats and stuff like that. And she saw that Mister Piddles was there, and she's followed. Mister Piddles is her favorite of our cats. She's followed Mister Piddles for years, and she said she took pictures and she sent us the pictures of Mister Piddles. And said that he it was like she was meeting Brad Pitt, is what she said.
So we got those pictures literally 3 minutes before
we get the call.
And
we were like, thank you so much. This is so great because we can't call for another hour and a half, and then
how hard it is to drop your kitty off at the vet for whatever reason.
Yeah, you cried that morning. Just dropping him off. So the vet called and she said, he's not well. He has fluid in his abdomen and his chest. His heartbeat is absolutely so irregular that he could just drop dead any second. And his liver is now enlarged. And like this, I was like, what? Like what and why and what? Like how and what? Like what? Like he was fine this morning. In fact, I thought maybe we shouldn't do a drop off that morning because he was actually so lively. When I came downstairs to make breakfast, he was like begging to go outside again. He had his poop, so he seemed like he was so much better. But I was like, well, we made the appointment. Let's go ahead and get another senior blood panel and a basic checkup, and let's
get his iron shot.
He'll be fine. And all of a sudden he had a numerous amount of problems that he did not have 3 months ago, less than 2 months ago.
It was about 3 months. It was March, February.
April, May. Yeah, less than 3 months ago. And he was apparently on death's door, and
we're like, because he was fine. This
wasn't making sense to us.
When we got the pictures of him, it was so exciting to see him.
Yeah,
and know that he was okay, because Mister Piddles is and even the veterinarian will be like, oh, the dramatics, because he's very
he's a stressed
emotional
dude.
About
very
stuff.
Emotional.
Yeah.
But she said, he's not doing well, and I don't know what to tell you, but he's just, and then she's like, hold on, and I go immediately on hold. So I'm like, what? And I put it on speaker because I'm like, I don't know what. She just said, hold on.
Jay's just writing stuff down. I'm sitting there next to her. I'm
not even able to spell. I'm like shaking. I'm like, what the hell is happening here? And then the nurse picks up the phone and said, he just arrested. You need to get here. Hold on, I'm drawing. Quick, look at Flat Liz. Okay.
That's good.
Okay. So of course we jump in the car and we are flying as fast as possible. And I became that person that I've never heard
her scream at so many fellow motorists.
I'm the least person of everybody that I know. I have the least amount of road rage. I give everybody an out. I realize people are,
maybe rushing to the vet to go see their cat who was
right. But I'm sitting behind 6 cars at a stoplight, and it seemed like every stoplight was like an hour long. And I'm sitting behind 6 cars. And I just need to get on the freeway, and I just start banging on my horn like that's going to change the. Like everybody else is like, it's not my fault, right? I'm sure, but we get to the vet, and And we rush out without our masks or our gloves too. So now we're in 14-day quarantine. But he was gone. He was gone when we got there. And they just walked us back, and they said, I'm so sorry. And then they talked a lot, and I don't know what they were saying, because all we could do is just hold him and like literally we both really thought that we might be able to bring him back.
We're like, so he arrested, so he's maybe not like he's just resting now.
And no. So that's a lot of it. So much goes through your mind when something that
be there.
I mean, and yeah.
And feeling like
you feel guilty, you feel like there's something that we could have done. I do want to say that I do still to this day, 3-4 days later, I still feel like my gut tells me that if we would not have taken him to the vet, he would still be here. I don't know if he would be suffering, however, but I do know that he would still be here, and I was going to try not to say or but.
Try so instead. So is another one of your favorites. But
there's just not there's not a lot of comprehension. I don't think either one of us know how to necessarily process it completely. We still don't. Yesterday was super hard on you, especially. I still have the washcloths, but they're still beside the bed that you brought us, so that we could like try to soak our faces a little bit, because it's not fair. It's not fair.
I just think about he was such a mama's boy.
It was a granddad's penis. There you go. Okay. He was such a we hated leaving him. I remember crying years and years ago, like 8 years ago or something. He had a respiratory issue, and I took him into the vet, and I had to drop him off in the morning, and he had to be in this like quarantine section because he had a respiratory issue, and those could be very, contagious to the other cats. So I had to go in through a back door, and I sat there with him until the doctor came in, and I had to literally run out so that they didn't see me cry, because I was like, and then I was like, why am I crying? Like, he's just the vet. Like, it's not a big deal, right? And it wasn't. But it was, he's such a needy cat. And that morning we took him to the vet, and oftentimes when he gets really stressed out, and he gets really stressed out on car rides, he will either poop, pee, or foam at the mouth when he's on a car ride, and he didn't do any of that.
If we don't,
dose him with his cat calm, and,
right, or play his music. I mean, he's usually pretty good when we take him, when we know that we have an appointment, but we made it the night before, so we didn't have that much time. But he was actually pretty.
He was fine.
I just get my hand in the cage with him, and
he was fine. So having, like, dropping off your cat, being like, this is fine, and then getting the call that he's gone is
or getting the call that, like, there's all this stuff wrong, and really not knowing what to think of it and trying to rush down there.
And there's so many things that go through your head, guys, when you're going through the grieving process. And this is something that, is completely normal. And I know it because I've read about it, and I've actually dealt with other people. I remember I keep thinking about that one lady that I was like, it was probably last year sometime, gutted when she said, I took my cat in for a normal dental, and they called and said my cat just died under anesthesia. And I was like, she was like, and she was fussy, and I was like, you're going to be fine. And that's kind of how I was with Mister Piddles. I don't think I even said bye. I mean, I might've said bye, Mister Piddles, but like, I didn't even
it was a
normal chat, and not being able to say bye, not being able to be there with them was
his last.
Really, for a kitty that gets so nervous and so scared and doesn't really like to be around other people. He never lashes out at anybody, except sometimes the kittens. But no, actually, he never lashes out. He will hiss when he gets too stressed, but he doesn't. He's all talk, no game.
I think it's all bark, no bite.
Oh, see, that helped too. Thanks, Liz. But yeah, so the grieving process you go through, first it's shock. I mean, for us, it was shock. I fell down to my knees, in the room. It was, we were just inconsolable. Then it was,
and we couldn't really understand what they were telling us. I feel like we didn't really gather all of the information, and it just feels like it was. It just
too fast. And then I think we're doing really well, actually.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And then we go through, the super just grieving, can't talk. We didn't talk to each other like the rest of the night. And then I woke up crying on Friday morning or Thursday morning or the next morning, and you're just like, don't even know. And then you go through a little bit of a denial or like push it out. We like had a meeting the next day that we had to hit. And so it was like, okay, cool. Thoughts off this. And then all of a sudden we go through blame, and we're like, this had to be something that, like, did they sedate him? And they shouldn't have.
Wrong.
Like, he's never had a heart issue. He's
never had a heart issue.
So for
him,
he
basically died of heart failure.
He just had a heart attack, like, and that's like, he's never had a heart issue. So it was like, what did they do? And then it was like, I think that basically brings us to confusion, and then where we still are, I guess, today.
And there's also a part of, and if you guys have multiple cats, I think that one of the additionally more difficult things was that it's rough when you bring a cat in for like a normal thing, and then you don't bring the kitty home. And our cats grieve too.
Yeah.
And I notice it more with Pooh Bear and
Twist.
Yeah. best buds.
So what we asked her to do, because I remember I said something like, can we bring him home? Like the other cats need to be able to see that he's gone. And she was like, you can, but you'll really need to refrigerate him. And I was like, we don't have refrigerator space. And that's just like, just more of a
that's a whole different topic.
That's something I can't even think about. And so we took the towel that he passed on and that he was wrapped up in our arms for so long while we tried to say goodbye. And we took that towel home and laid it down. And Friday loved her Mister Piddles.
Oh, she was in love with him.
She loved him, and she immediately went we put it in his carrier, and she immediately went into his carrier, smelled it, curled up, and kind of laid down on it, which, we were just streaming, crying on that. And then, Zorro went up and smelled it. And then the other boys were kind of a little bit, just like, do, not a big deal. And
it was Pooh Bear, though, that killed me.
And starting yesterday, really.
And now they're looking for him.
Yeah.
And Pooh Bear would always do this thing. Pooh Bear loves him so much. And he would go up. Mr. Piddles, the last, he has this carrier that's his favorite carrier. It's like his little bed. And which is great for when you have to go to the vet, right? You just scoop him up and you're off. So he was in his carrier, and Pooh Bear would always go up. For the longest time, Pooh Bear would just sit there, and he'd sit there looking in the carrier, and he'd chirp at him. He'd be like, brr, brr, until Piddles would come out and play with him. And I finished feeding them Friday night, and Pooh Bear comes up to the carrier, and he's chirping away at it. He's like, brr, brr, and he lays down next to it on the side that doesn't have a window, and he's chirping, and brr, and he gets up and he chirps some more, and then he looks in there, and then he went halfway in, like, where the hell is he? That's heartbreaking.
Watching them grieve, and then he immediately started spraying. And
then he started peeing in the closet, which is his way of letting us know that he doesn't
approve of the situation.
He does not approve of the situation.
Yeah, so we know they're grieving too, and it's it's difficult to try to keep up with a family. I feel like 4 is so small. It's such a small family now.
It's always an empty feeling,
Empty and a gut, like I feel like heavy in the chest. Do you feel heavy in the chest?
Oh, yeah. Jay, I remember someone asking you, where do you feel this? Like a situation is going on, where do you feel this?
That was a therapist years ago.
Yeah. And she was like, I don't feel anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was like, what, my big toe?
Like where am I supposed to be feeling?
My toe hurts a little.
But now it's like a knot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Twist is the same way. He goes outside, and Piddles would always run this route when he would come outside. He would come outside, and he likes to go under his little bush, and he'd lay there, half on the concrete, half in the grass. Then he'd go to his other spot, and then he'd go back to the chairs, and then he would sneak around. He always thought he was sneaking around. He'd sneak around the side of the yard, down behind the table where we were sitting, and then across, and he'd go. Oh, he loved this wheelbarrow we have in the backyard over on the side of the house where you can't see him from where we're sitting. And Twist did the whole route, just looking for him.
Yeah, and smelling around.
Smelling everything.
Yeah. So I think when it comes, here's what I've learned. It's so different. It's so different. Every situation has been so different as far as losing. Like I remember Tidy. It was gut wrenching. It was a process of oh my gosh, he's sick. We have to take him to the vet, and then the vet says, and then doing all these things that we could, and then coming to the point where it's like he's not going to make it. You should probably take him home for the night, and then we're probably going to have to let him go. So we got to spend a last night with him. Obviously, ripped out heart, crying, all of that.
Sleep at all. We were
making sure that he's like okay every second. Mama with the Mack truck situation, we knew she went down. She had a bad prognosis like a year prior. We thought she wasn't going to make it another week. We just kept doing everything. And she was doing
so good. The morning that she died, she had a tumor in her lungs.
Yeah.
The morning that she died, you would never know anything was wrong. Cats are so stoic, y'all.
Yeah.
She would play with Jay's shoelaces every morning before she would go on a run. Play with her shoelaces, ate all her breakfast, and then she sneezed, and there was blood in the sneeze, and we rushed her to the vet.
Yeah.
And the tumor had ruptured, and she was drowning
internally. So so that was a Mack truck situation, meaning we had to, like, an emergency, that we had to make an emergency decision. When it came to Scotch, we knew he was going downhill. We had made, appointments. We had done everything. I bought supplements overnight. Like, we did everything. He was a slow progression of going downhill. Probably over a 6-month period, but really over.
It was like the last week was.
Yeah, over the last week or two.
Him letting
us know. He basically told us, I'm ready to go. And he was almost 22. And we were like, okay, let's make the responsible decision, and let's do this at home, and let's whatever. And that was the easiest, I feel like, even though it was super hard. It was easy because we grieved a lot in advance, and then we grieved after the fact, but we knew that he went peacefully. With us, with his family, in his favorite spot, in his favorite bed, after eating his favorite meal. Like, it felt so good. And to have Piddles
wait. Carl the bee. I love Carl.
There you go. Yeah.
It's good. You've had some good ones.
It was random out of my ass. I just thought of whatever I could think of.
Okay, on the podcast, just so you know, Jay put random things in here so that we could look at them to.
Yeah. I already said that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So,
anyway, this is just a new experience, and
I don't know that there's a right. I don't think that there's a wrong way to grieve the loss of your cat. I think you have to. You have to
have support around you.
Yeah, it's good to have support. You guys have helped us so much. Just to know that, and everybody checking in on us. We have messages every day. Just wanted to see how you guys are doing. Like, you guys are so amazing.
And we were talking about that on Friday.
In general,
when we lost Tiggy, it was like our work expected us to be back at work 10 minutes later. It was like no big deal. Nobody asked what happened or if we wanted to talk about it. Not that we even would have. I'm somebody that I'm not good at talking about stuff when it first happens, which is why I thought you were ludicrous for trying to do this on a podcast.
But it's worked not too bad.
It's not bad. But there was just no, even our families to a large degree were like, oh, I'm so sorry I heard about your cat. But this has been, I almost feel guilty for all the amazing community. The one thing that I am grateful for is that this community is so, when we see it on our lives all the time, when someone loses one of their cats or something, that, like, everybody just is.
We band together,
and so
Dana and Robin,
and empathetic.
But Dana and Robin in our VIP group both lost in the same 24-hour period. We all lost our babies, and we're not any different from you guys. And we're cat
loss is
loss. Loss is loss, and it rips your heart out, and it hurts so bad. And there's not ways that you can. There's ways that you can distract yourself, and we're doing that. Like, we've done that today, and we did that a little bit over maybe Thursday a little bit, and then Friday for sure at the beginning of the day at least. A distraction, but I don't think distraction is probably not the healthiest way. That's my way, but that's not the healthiest way. But it wouldn't be the wrong way necessarily. I think you just have to, take your time, go through the roller coaster of, we were talking about quarantine and how, like, it's such a roller coaster because one day you're like, I love this so much, and the next day you're like, get me the fuck out of this house.
Right.
And then it's like a roller coaster. One day you're stressed about everything, and the next day you're like, this is actually the most fantastic thing on the planet, and so many blessings. But I think when it comes to grief, I think it's the same kind of thing. You gotta let yourself feel good when you feel good, and let yourself feel sad when you feel sad. Let yourself cry when you have to cry, and let yourself smile when you need to smile. And none of that means that you're doing the wrong thing. I thought today, our neighbors came over because they saw on Facebook that we lost Mister Piddles, and they were talking to us through the window. talking to Adrienne through the window, and my first thought was, and this was right before we were about to do our first live today, which we did with Coco Therapy on Facebook, which is a beautiful, awesome a distraction too, but a beautiful, awesome
great
company that we interviewed.
Girls.
And they, I was like, I came to the top of the stairs and I'm like, don't talk about it right
Adrienne
now. Like, we've got so much. You can't cry yet. Like, you can't suck it up. We can't do this because we've got this stuff to deal with. But I don't feel like that's necessarily I feel like you need to feel what you feel when you feel it,
Yeah.
And I'm super I did not think this was going to go as easy as it. I mean, as far as I thought we wouldn't be able to get words out for the most part, because even when we try to talk to each other, that is all it is we're not making words. We know what we're saying. We know what each other is saying, but we're not actually forming real words.
I'm picking Mister Piddles energy.
So
I love you, Pam.
So, and here's another thing, Pam, beautiful Pam from Perfectly Holistic, has gifted us with an animal communicator, which we've never done before. But she has someone that is going to meet with us, and I think that as much as that makes me super sad and a little nervous about the emotion that's going to come from that, it makes me so peaceful too at the same time, if that's even possible to have those emotions at the same time. But it makes me a little peaceful to be able to connect with him and kind of have have a conversation or whatever it is, that just find out how what and how and why, and can you
what happened?
Tell us something. I don't know. But yeah, I think when it comes to grieving, we have to all do it in our own ways, and we have to do it. I think it's always good to be healthy about it, right? I went for a run this morning, which helped a lot.
I ate a pancake.
She ate a pancake, which helped a lot. All in our own ways. Some of us have to run, some of us eat pancakes. Did it have blueberries on it?
It did.
See, add some blueberries. That's a perfect example of adding some fresh food into a processed diet. On a different note.
You never miss an opportunity, do you?
Right. So anyway, guys.
Hey, there's going to be a follow-up podcast, Pam, for this, because I do feel like we've never done an animal communicator before, but there are a lot of questions that I have.
We went for a hike yesterday, guys, and we didn't say it to each other until we came back from the hike, but we both spent the entire hike looking for him. Like a sign, like Mama, literally. I mean, the day she died, crazy. The day she died, she came to our backyard while we were sitting there again in shock, not talking to each other, drinking whiskey. And she came in the form of a mockingbird.
Since she was a kitten, she would terrorize the mockingbirds in our yard in Tennessee. They loved her. She would lay there and they would dive bomb her and she'd jump up in the air. She loved the mockingbirds so much.
And she also,
and the day she died.
Well, but even before she always had this sneezing fits, and it was always like a she was so dainty and small, and so cute. And she would always have these and then the last day she sneezed blood, and that was our turning point for her, and then the turning point for her. And then when we came home from the vet that day, we sat outside and we poured some whiskey, and we were in shock, just not talking. And all of a sudden, this mockingbird comes down, literally on the branch, right, in between us, right above us, and just starts sneezing.
Closer than a bird usually lands to humans.
And it was one of those energy things. It was one of those things that we just, sure, maybe mockingbird sneeze, so it's not I don't know. But it was both of us looked at each other and we were like, Mama. And we both knew it at that moment that it was Mama that visited us. So we were looking for Mister Piddles yesterday.
Pam's reminding us that it's an anonymous donor that has gifted us with animal communication session. And I have a feeling that's probably one of our VIPs, because they are amazing.
I love you
guys. It's someone that we know.
You don't have to be anonymous.
Don't be anonymous.
Don't be anonymous.
We promise payback will not be a bitch.
That's right. Promise. That's right.
So okay, I think we should wrap it up. I feel like we're just gonna ramble. I do want to say this though, that for anyone that's going through something similar, or this boy, I wish you guys could see him. I know he's black. I should have worn a white shirt.
Azuro is so he is sprawled out on his back. Belly up in Adrienne's lap right now.
But I really encourage you guys to reach out to us. Avail yourself of the amazing people in this community. I'm really
reach out to each other, Dana, here. Robin. Reach out to us. Reach out to each other. We have literally cat people are the best people on the planet. We say that all the time, but nothing reassures us more than. Literally in 20 minutes after posting that, we had over 500 comments of condolences and support and love, and I think it's over 1,600 comments now just on Facebook alone. Instagram, I think it's our most common.
I guess it's not normal, but it just shows how many people are so
compassionate in the cat world, and I think it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, hi, Cat.
Hey, Cat. Love from me, yes. Oh, and I forgot to add that in. So we told you that the cat sent us a picture right before we left. When we got home from the vet, she had sent us. We didn't check it till she sent it in the meantime. But when we got home from the vet, I pulled up and saw that I had another notification from her, and she sent us a video of him. And she was loving on him and singing him his Mister Piddles song. And we just broke down, and we were like, "Thank you so much for being there for him."
It was so comforting to know that there was somebody
you saw him
there
alive.
That was giving him.
Yeah. So you have been a godsend for us, and we love you so much. So anyway, guys, I guess lesson of today is you never know what how long you have left with your loved ones. So hold them tight. Remember, love them as if it's their last day every day, and never forget to say goodbye. And because you never know. So we're going to end with that, and we'll be live on Facebook in about 30 minutes.
Fix our faces.
I do fix our faces a little
bit. Thank you guys all. And
thank you guys all for
all the love and
for
putting up with our rambling
and for listening in.
For making us feel like Mister Piddles is.
Thanks for subscribing to the podcast. Please, leave your comments. Let us know how you grieve or how you have grieved a loved one in the past. And if you have any advice, we always are open for advice. We love you guys so much, and we hope you have a beautiful day.
Love you guys. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.